Imagine if you spent your entire life training to become the world's greatest assassin. Everyone knew your name. You were considered the most dangerous person alive. But out of nowhere, you find yourself being hunted by elite spies, and suddenly, you get sent to another world. And once you arrive in this strange new land, you discover you were summoned by a certain young lady. Let's say she's rather enticing, who wants to make you her husband. She assumes you're completely powerless, so she decides to let you live off her generosity. All she really needs is a husband so her dad will stop nagging her. But she's no ordinary woman. Aside from being, well, extremely well endowed, she also happens to be incredibly strong. In fact, she's one of the most respected generals in this world. So, what would you do? Would you tell her the truth that you're a highly trained killer? Or, after a lifetime of violence, bloodshed, and survival, would you just give in and enjoy the easy life as the Empress's kept man? Honestly, I'd be tempted. I'd probably go back and forth on it. But what's our guy gonna choose? At this very moment, the story shows us he's still being chased by the assassin guild he once belonged to. During the chase, there's a sudden explosion, and then we cut to the Empress performing a summoning ritual. She declares, "In the name of the spirit that dwells within me, I summon a servant from a different time and space." Suddenly, someone appears on her bed, head covered with a cloth. The figure removes the cover, looking around and wondering, where are the people chasing me? He glances around confused, trying to make sense of the situation. But we already know who this troublemaker is. It could only be our protagonist, Xiao Tian, and the Empress who summoned him. That's Zi Ruyan. She leans on her hand, clearly disappointed, seeing that the man she called forth looks like just some regular guy. Meanwhile, our shameless boy is already blushing, thinking, gorgeous. That angelic face, that flawless skin. She's like a wild, untamable ocean, a force of nature with an unbeatable spirit. Can't really blame him on that one. Then the Empress sighs and mutters, "You know what? This actually works out. You've saved me a lot of trouble." Xiao Tian, still lost, asks, "Who are you? Where are we?" She spreads her arms and replies, "I am the Empress of the Great Yang Dynasty, and from now on, you're the Prince of the Realm and my husband." Our boy just stands there, completely bewildered, looking like he got hit in the head. She clears her throat and continues, "Yep, you heard right. Some of my advisors were begging me to marry. I didn't want to be pressured by that annoying minister, so I summoned you for political cover." Our guy's eyes start to sparkle. He's practically glowing. He asks, "So you're saying, I don't have to do anything here? Just be your husband?" She shrugs, "Pretty much." And of course, the shameless rascal flops back onto the bed and invites the Empress to join him for a little quality time. But she shuts that down real quick. She explains that unfortunately, she won't be fulfilling any wifely duties, but she promises he'll never need to worry about food, clothes, or money for the rest of his life. She'll even find a way to remove the slave ring that got embedded in him during the summoning. Then she tells him to meet her in the Imperial Hall and leaves the room. Xiao Tian just sits there, stunned by her commanding presence. He looks down at the ring and thinks, this is the contract ring she mentioned. As long as I'm under its effect, I can't do anything to hurt her. That's when the long-awaited system finally appears and asks, "Would you like to activate the most powerful supreme system? Yes or no?" Our guy goes, "Wait a second. I traveled to another world and I'm being offered an overpowered system on top of that?" Of course he says no. Yeah, I really thought he'd say yes too, but hey, our boy knows what he's doing. Then he starts talking. "I was adopted as an orphan when I was a kid. I had to kill and train non-stop just to survive. Because of the assassin guild I worked for, I didn't even have a say in who I took out. Wanting to be the strongest? I already walked that path. I'm done. What I want now is right here. Is there anything better than being a pampered prince with zero responsibilities?" He sits down satisfied. But then the system goes, "Because you declined, we'll now erase your memory and move on to another candidate." Xiao Tian just stares it down, and then the system starts glitching. System failure. Attempting to disconnect. System failure. Trying to forcibly bond with user. System failure. Host belongs to ultra-dimensional plane, Earth. Entering parasite mode. System failure. The system is bugging out hard, trying every trick in the book and nothing works. After 9,999 failed attempts, it gives up and pleads, "Can I at least be your assistant, please?" Our boy just stands there thinking to himself, "So now this thing won't be my system anymore, it'll be my slave? Now that, I can agree to." He decides to give the system a name, Wan Cow. Immediately, the system warns him, "Dear master, please hold your breath. Otherwise, there may be unnecessary consequences." Xiao Tian's confused, but the moment he takes a breath, the nearby plants start disintegrating. The system panics, "No, don't do that. Suppress your power." That's when he realizes he's become a bit stronger. He asks the system to explain what's going on. The system replies, "On Earth, people are bound by 490,000 dimensional rules. That's why you're so overwhelmingly powerful." Our guy asks, "So how many dimensional rules does this world have?" The system answers, 3,000, which means he's 470,000 times stronger now. Naturally, Xiao Tian wants to check out his status window. And what shows up? Turns out he has the bloodline of the ancient Chinese dragon descendants. A bloodline so rare and powerful, the system doesn't even know how strong it truly is. Big guy decides he wants to try out his power a bit, so he heads to the martial arts training hall. He spots a rack of swords and casually grabs one. "I'll test it with this," he says, but before he even finishes the sentence, the sword snaps in his hand. He mutters, "Tetch. This empress sure doesn't take good care of her weapons." The system chimes in, "Weapons in this world are ranked from 1 to 9. That one was ranked 6, so it was a pretty decent weapon." He grabs another, more carefully this time using just his fingertip. Gives it a look and goes, "This one looks alright." As soon as he touches it, crack, shattered again. Our guy gets frustrated and chucks it aside. "Alright, message received. At the very least, I'm strong enough. Doesn't matter if the weapons are garbage. Not like I plan to kill anyone this time around anyway." He walks out of the hall. Time skips the next day. He wakes up and notices someone lying beside him. He's got very good company. Startled, he asks, "Wait, did we?" The Empress is blushing, gazing at him. Still half asleep, he cups her cheek and mumbles, "Did we actually do that?" She ignores the question completely and asks if he slept well. He replies, "I slept great, but am I in the wrong room or something?" She explains she had to stay the night so people wouldn't get suspicious. A married couple sleeping in separate rooms on their wedding night, people would talk. She gets up, elegant as ever, and says, "I'll send someone to assist you if you need anything." Then she turns around, radiant as always, and softly apologizes. "I'm sorry for summoning you here for my own benefit." Our boy is grinning from ear to ear, thinking, "This woman is incredible. Not only is she majestic, but she takes care of me too. Easy life. Here I come." Night falls. We cut to the Empress asking, "Is the situation in the north really that bad?" Her friend, a former general, answers, "Unfortunately, yes. The barbarians are already starting to invade, and based on our intel, the sacred barbarian will be there too." The Empress slams shut her little notebook and says, "Then I'll go take it back myself. I'll deal with that old bastard once and for all." She turns to the general and says, "In 3 days you're coming north with me." The ex-general doesn't even hesitate. She lights up. That woman loves chaos. We jump to 3 days later. The Empress is now fully armored, clearly someone who knows how to fight. Before leaving, she asks if everything's in place. The woman nods and says she assigned Lingyer to watch over him, so there's nothing to worry about. But then she turns and asks, "Why are you so concerned with that prince? He seems totally useless." The Empress replies, "Ever since he arrived, I've felt stronger somehow. Maybe he brings good luck to the Empire." And just like that, she sets off to reclaim the north. Watching her ride away is the general's daughter, Zhao Lingyer. She's the one left in charge of watching over our boy, and to say she's not thrilled about it would be an understatement. She mutters, "Why do I have to babysit this worthless prince?" Then she looks over at him. Her majesty is amazing, so why'd she marry a weirdo like that? But just then, out of nowhere, someone snatches Xiao Tian. She doesn't even notice. And what does our boy do? Keeps calmly eating his roast chicken. He's thrown down in front of a group of shady-looking guys. One of them, wearing what looks like a half mask, turns and asks, "Are you sure this is the right guy?" That loser's the Empress's husband. Lingyer, who should be helping him, is just sitting up in a tree, watching everything, convinced he's a total idiot. As soon as the kidnappers move away a bit, she jumps down, grabs his hand, and says, "Come on, let's get out of here." But right then, he disappears. Turns out our Lingyer was fooled by an illusion item. Now she's the one trapped in a spiritual cage. The guys come back and immediately recognize her as the general's daughter. Meanwhile, our protagonist, still calmly munching on his chicken like it's just another afternoon. Linger's already drawing her sword, but the scar-faced man tells her not to bother. She demands, "Who are you?" He takes off his mask, revealing a long scar, and asks, "Do you remember me?" Cut to the next scene. She's chained up in a cave, shocked. Liang, the scared guy, is alive. Our boy chimes in cheerfully, "Oh, so you all know each other? Great. In that case, I'm heading out." But Liang puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "We're not done here." Xiaotian sighs, disappointed. "All right then, guess I'll wait." Scarface thinks to himself, at least the Empress's husband has guts. Then he hands Xiao a vial and says, "You're gonna put this in the Empress's water." Xiao takes it and casually replies, "Sure, no problem." Liang eyes him suspiciously. This is going too smoothly. He warns that's a nonverbal promise item. If you drink it and break the deal, you'll die. Before he can finish his sentence, Xiao already downs it. Then turns to him and says, "Okay, can I go now? I've got stuff to do. If I take too long, those Imperial guards are gonna start looking for me." Liang stares at the empty bottle, completely thrown off. What do I even do with a guy like this? He wonders. Our boy's sitting there like, "I did everything you asked. Just let me go already, man." Lingyer shouts at him, "You shameless traitor. How could the Empress pick someone like you?" Liang scolds her, "You're an idiot. The prince simply understands the situation better than you do. You and your mother are the only ones who can't see how desperate things are in the Yang dynasty." Then Xiao points to Lingyer and asks, "So now that I've taken the poison, can I take her with me too?" She screams, "I don't want your help." But Liang cuts in, "Sorry, can't do that. I've got some unfinished business with her I need to settle." Xiao frowns, "Yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm not leaving without her." Then he says it, plain and clear. "If I have to leave here without her, it'll be because I'm dead." Liang responds, "Fine, then you'll die of poison, right here in this cave. Our boy gives him an innocent look. Don't be petty, man. I've been nothing but cooperative. Suddenly, one of the henchmen behind him snaps, charges forward, and goes to punch him. The guy's fist swings just near Xiao's hair, and Lingyer flinches. He's just a regular guy, she thinks. How's he gonna survive that? But when they look again, he's still sitting there, yawning. Both of them freeze, stunned. How is he this calm? With a serious expression, Xiao says, "Are you gonna move that hand or not?" The guy still has him by the hair. Xiao just mutters, "Don't touch my hair." Then, bam, he gives a lazy side punch. A huge explosion follows. Pretty sure the guy just got vaporized. The whole cave shakes. Our boy tilts his head, wondering why did that happen. Then throws another punch, and another. By now he's blown up 3 guys already. The masked guy falls to the floor. Xiao approaches and the guy starts begging for his life, but it's too late. With just one stare, Xiao makes him disintegrate. He literally killed the guy by looking at him. Then he turns to Lingyer. She's trembling. "Prince, please let me live. I didn't know you were like this." Xiao just grabs the chains in his hand. Snapped, she's free. She's completely stunned. How the hell did he break sacred chain formations like they were twigs? He looks at her and says, "Silly girl, why'd you think I'd hurt you? Just sit here and don't move. I'm gonna go clean up the evidence." And then he Hulk jumps into the sky. Far off in the distance, 2 mountains rise. Lingyer, smiling and dazed, mutters, "What the hell? Am I seeing things? Is that a mountain hopping around? Wait, why is a mountain heading this way?" And there he is, our Chad hero, carrying a whole mountain. He drops it behind her with a boom. Xiao walks up all carefree and says, "There, no more evidence." Lingyer just stands there, absolutely dumbfounded. "So that's how you cover up a crime, huh?" Our boy's already walking off and says, "Hey little girl, when they ask, just say you were the one who saved me, alright?" She blinks, totally confused. "Wait, what? What do you mean?" With a straight face, he looks at her and says, "Didn't your mom ever tell you to listen to what adults say?" She's still in shock but nods. "Got it. I won't tell anyone." Proud as ever, he smirks and says, "That's right. Good girl. Now let's go." He picks her up by the arm and glances to the side. Her friend is nearby, searching around. One of the guards spots them and says, "Prince, General Zhao, what are you 2 doing here?" Our guy's just yawning. Lingyer jumps in quickly. "I already took care of the thief. Nothing to worry about." Chochian adds, "False alarm, folks. Let's go back and get some BBQ." General Liu Yan warns him, "Prince, there are bandits in these mountains. It's not safe to stay here." He shrugs and says, "If you mean those bandits, they're all dead. This little girl here took care of them. Bunch of weaklings." One of the soldiers whispers to her friend, "Oh my god, this prince is such a moron. He's calling the great general a little girl." But Xiao and Lingyer are already walking off. Blondie, Lingyer, turns back and tells the other guards to get moving. They all stand there stunned, wondering why is the general listening to him. Cut to our protagonist roasting his little pig, happy as can be. Lingyer shows up all sweet, bringing him a little knife to carve with. She sits right beside him, just waiting for another tasty bite. The other soldiers whisper to each other, "It's over. The general's gone nuts." Xiao turns to Lingyer and asks, "Hey, do you know who those guys were that captured us?" She replies, "Their leader, the one with the scar, was Liang Shu. He was supposed to be executed a year ago." "Executed?" Xiao blinks. "For what?" "It was during my coming-of-age ceremony," she says. He raises an eyebrow. "Coming of age? Wait, how old are you?" She blushes a little. 16. Xiao stares in disbelief. 16. Talking about murder and decapitations like it's nothing. Your mom must be out of her mind. She gives a nervous laugh and nods. Then she warns him, "Now that you're with the Empress, you're going to be hunted too." One of the mounted guards says, "Prince, it'd be safer if you stayed in the palace. You'll be more protected there." He agrees immediately. "You're right. I'll just chill in the palace, eating and drinking in peace." The guards quietly wonder, is he seriously that scared of dying? Xiao's already running ahead, yelling, "Let's check out the palace." The gossip starts right behind him, some of the girls whispering that Linger's way too clingy with the prince. Is she into him or something? As they walk along the mountain path, Xiao turns to her and says, "Hey, I overheard the other girls talking about something called a blood cloud. What's that supposed to be?" Lingyer snaps, clearly annoyed. "Oh, those damn guards can't keep their mouths shut." She explains the blood cloud is a force that keeps attacking our empire. That's why everyone's forced to pay protection taxes. Xiao frowns. "Protection taxes? What do you mean?" She goes on to explain the shady deal. Corrupt politicians have been charging people for protection from the Blood Cloud tribe, but they don't actually do anything to protect them. They just pocket the money. Sounds like a classic South American politician move to me. And now, to make things worse, there's talk of removing the Empress from power because she opposes all of it, which means he, as her useless husband, is now a walking target. Xiao clenches his fist. This whole system is rigged. Then he turns to Lingyer and asks, "If the Empress finds out I'm actually strong, is she gonna make me start working?" Lingyer answers without missing a beat, "Absolutely." Xiao thinks it over. "If these guys attack the city and come after me, I'll eventually have to show what I can do. And if I don't, everyone could get wiped out. If a war breaks out because of me, she'll probably divorce me or kick me out. He scowls. No way. I'll take care of those blood cloud guys before they ruin my slacker lifestyle. Lingyer stares at him. Wait, that's what you're worried about? They keep walking through the forest and Lingyer says it's impossible to find them. They've got a fortress hidden away somewhere. Our boy, full shade mode, says relax Blondie, then casually scoots her into his arms and launches himself into the sky. Poor girl's completely stunned. Wait, he didn't use any spiritual energy for that. Meanwhile, he's flying at insane speed with her in his arms. She's screaming, totally panicked, slow down. The system chimes in, Master, you need to reduce speed immediately, or she's going to die. A bit later, he finally lands in the middle of nowhere and calmly says, we're here. Lingyer, hair all messed up and dizzy, croaks, here. Where's here? Our prince winds up his arm and punches straight into an invisible wall. Boom, shatters everything, and tada, a hidden floating base appears right in front of them. Lingyer gasps. So that's why no one could ever find it. It's a cloaked floating fortress. Our lovely protagonist marches right in and tells Lingyer to follow him. She nods and asks, so what's the plan for this secret infiltration? He shrugs. There is no secret infiltration. Next thing you know, he jumps straight to the front doors of the main hall with her. You're insane, she mutters. Inside, a tall, imposing woman notices them. A face I don't recognize, she says. Trip doesn't wait. An explosion goes off as he starts slicing through people left and right. Suddenly, more enemies appear behind him. And among them, Walnut Goku has entered the chat. Lingyer recognizes him right away. He's one of the top assassins from the Blood Tower. The guy looks at Xiao Tian and sneers, so the Empress's lapdog came to see me. Whoa, even Xiao didn't see that insult coming. Ruthless. The Blood Tower goons quickly start whispering plans. The Empress is off in the north. Let's send her his head. But Xiao, no fool, instantly picks up on it. They know too much. There's definitely a spy inside the city. Free Shipping Goku says, I've been dying to see the power of this so-called weakling prince. But at that very moment, he feels it. That pressure. Xiao Tian's aura towers over them, massive, suffocating. Just one cold look and half of them drop to the floor, trembling. Goku clutches his head, desperate. P-Prince. Wait, this was all just a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Xiao says calmly. I just wanted to live a peaceful, lazy life. But you sent people to hunt me down. Now I have no choice but to destroy everything. He charges up the old classic punch and boom, vaporizes the whole room. Walmart Goku, gone without a trace. The remaining survivors start panicking. Wait, who was the idiot who said this prince was weak? Xiao reaches for Linger's hand and smiles. You okay, little lady? She's standing there dumbfounded. He really has no idea how powerful he is, does he? She asks, are you seriously going to destroy the entire Blood Clan? Of course I am, he says. Next stop, their main base. I want to be home by dinner. He punches through their warehouse. TLM, gold coins everywhere. Without hesitation, he dives in like a man possessed. They ruined my nap, he mutters. This is compensation. Lingyer watches, and while she gets it, she still asks, isn't this a bit much? That money's dirty. He responds, it's the price they pay for trying to corrupt our city. You don't have a problem with that, right? She laughs nervously, and no, not at all. Then he grabs a powerful talisman from the rubble and tosses it to her. She flinches. Wait, why are you using such a high-level talisman on me? He replies, their base is super far from here. I need to go full speed, so you'll need that to survive the trip. What do you mean survive the trip? Before she can finish, he picks her up again and and they're off. Even with the talisman, she's suffering hard. It's way too fast. Seconds later, they crash land at the enemy base. Lingyer is completely wrecked. Xiao sniffs the air and immediately senses blood. 10 men surround them in an instant. A couple steps forward. Who dares set foot in our sacred base? They sneer. Lingyer freezes. Their auras are terrifying. Then an old man appears. That's him, the Lord of the Blood Tribe. Lingyer whispers, that's the one behind everything. Xiao raises an eyebrow and asks, you got beef with the Yang dynasty or something? The man scoffs, I do. But you're just the useless prince. Doesn't matter to me. Though I'll admit, breaking through our defense array means you've got something powerful, probably some rare artifact. Then, without missing a beat, he shouts, kill him. Just then, the guide, who's apparently someone else's husband, raises his hand and says, I'll take care of him myself. Lingyer turns to our protagonist, worried. Be careful. That's Skull Splitter Huan Gang. Xiao Tian squints. That name sounds like a bluff. He's already thinking. He's got to wipe everyone out. If anyone escapes, word's gonna get out that he's the real deal. Huan steps up face to face with our boy. I didn't expect the prince to have any strength, he says, but doesn't matter. Then he turns to the Blood Tribe leader. If I go all out, will you call a healer afterward? The old man replies, don't worry about holding back, just don't kill him. Huan stares Xiao down. Small, pretty face, skinny frame, long legs. So this is the kind of guy the Empress likes. Ope Huan, you're observant, but you're giving off real specific vibes here. One of his goons warns, careful man, don't kill him in one punch. Another laughs, he's probably already peeing himself from fear. Xiao Tian calmly points at his own forehead. Hit me right here. Everyone freezes. What? RGIJCHD adds, what, you scared? That sets Huan off. He throws a punch straight at Xiao's face. Everyone's eyes go wide. But of course our boy doesn't disappoint. He stops the punch with one finger. Xiao smirks. What's wrong, bro? You didn't eat today. Come on, put some strength into it. Huan throws another punch. Again, stopped with a single finger. Xiao just wags his finger at him. Nope, still not enough. Huan keeps swinging, fists flying, hands starting to bleed. Then Xiao lets out a flicker of aura. Wham! Huan's body slams into the wall, hand totally mangled. Xiao comments, "Gotta say, I admire your technique. You nearly killed yourself throwing punches." In the background, someone's whining, "Damn it, Intelligence Division again. Who said this guy was weak?" Our prince even feels sorry for him. Poor dude's literally crying from how badly he got beaten. But Xiao suddenly notices guys from the other towers are here too, and he's not letting anyone escape. Time to open the floodgates. Punches. 4. Everybody. The room explodes into chaos. People scream in disbelief. Is he even human? Everyone tries to flee. Some start vanishing. On the floor, a blood tower guy's muttering prayers. Please, let just one of us escape. The world needs to know about this monster. But no chance. Xiao appears right in front of someone, gives a few slaps, and bodies start evaporating. No survivors. Then, she appears. The ultimate threat to any man. She's a total bombshell, and even she is stunned. I've never seen anyone this unmatched in martial skill. If you spare me, she purrs, I'll serve at your side for life. No one knows who she is, but they do know. She's the queen of seduction, and no man survives her. Cardio techniques. Except that, well, halfway through the aerobics, she eats people's hearts. So yeah, slightly dangerous. But the real issue, she's way too beautiful. Our prince might actually fall for her. But no, our boy unleashes a devastating aura and says, "You're a twisted woman with a filthy mind." She drops to her knees, sobbing, "What do you want me to do, my lord?" Xiao answers, "I don't mind you begging. But if the Empress finds out I was even near someone like you, she'll divorce me, and I'll lose my comfy lifestyle." And before she can say a word more, he punches her square in the chest. She only survives thanks to her, natural airbag system. Turning to Lingir, he says proudly, "See, I'm a loyal man. If anyone asks, make sure to tell them. Oh, and mention I was very upset about this, alright?" Lingir, totally unfazed, asks, "What are you even talking about?" He crosses his arms. "You're too young to get it. Just forget it." Lingir starts admiring him again. He's so strong and mentally unshakable. Not even she could seduce him. Then Xiao says, "Only one left." Meanwhile, hiding somewhere, the blood tribe leader is curled up thinking, who said this guy was weak? This dude's not from a normal realm. I don't even know what level he's at. He assumes Xiao must have used some rare treasure to get into the fortress. It had to be something like that, not just raw power. The old man breathes a sigh of relief, thinking the monster had finally left. But guess who appears right behind him? Yup, our boy, face to face. The old man freezes. Xiao says, "You look like a kid hiding under the bed." The guy disappears in a flash. From behind, the tribe leader laughs. "He fell into my trap. This whole place is about to blow. He'll die for sure." But the prince already grabs the blood tribe leader by the neck and says, "Where were you going? We're not done yet. Let's go back." Back at the base, he shows the guy to Lingir and goes, "Can you believe this guy was hiding under a bed?" Lingir, totally confused, asks, "Wait, isn't he the leader of the assassins?" Barely able to speak, the man gasps, "I suppressed my spiritual energy, slowed my breathing, even controlled my heartbeat. How did you find me?" Xiao Tian shrugs. "Easy. I just listened to the blood flowing through your veins." They both freeze. "You can hear that? That makes a sound? No way." Xiao says, "Enough. I answered your question. Now it's your turn. Why are you targeting the Empress's dynasty?" The leader starts sweating bullets. "If you promise to spare me, I'll tell you." Half a second later, the guy's already disconnected from the world of the living. Lingir just stares. Dang, he didn't even hesitate. Poor guy. "Can I go home now?" Next scene, the assassin's base is now at the bottom of a lake. How did Xiao do it? Who knows? But let's not question it. This guy's basically an Chuck Norris. He turns to Lingir. "Let's go. It's dinner time." She's smiling, totally curious. How is he this strong? But Xiao cuts her off. "Enough curiosity, Blondie." She nods nervously. Then he pats her on the head and says, "Kids just need to listen to adults. That's all." Blushing, Lingir pouts. "I'm not a kid." Xiao grins. "All right, fine. You're a grown woman now. Cool. Now let's go. I'm starving." As they walk, she keeps thinking about that fight. How did he hear the guy's blood flow? Just then, the royal guards find them. Xiao clutches his chest and says dramatically, "Thank goodness you helped me find that token. If I'd lost it, the Empress would have been devastated." Lingir side-eyes him. How does he lie so easily? Not even a blink. Meanwhile, our boy's only worried about one thing, dinner. One of the knights apologizes for not being around and leaving Lingir stuck with this idiot prince. But Lingir defends him, a little embarrassed. "Don't say that about the prince. Let him be who he is." The knight narrows her eyes, suspicious. Why is Lingir defending this guy so much? She warns, "Be careful. These blood tribe bastards are reckless. I don't care if something happens to the prince, but I don't want you ending up like my husband." Lingir softly replies, "Your husband was a hero. If he hadn't faced the blood tribe alone, he might have survived." The knight starts tearing up. "It's fine. The blood tribe will disappear soon." Shows off to the side, thinking, Guess I did something good today, huh? Hope the guy rests in peace. The guards are all giving him weird looks. What's wrong with this prince? Is he nuts? Next morning, Linger's rushing out of the house. Her dad calls out, "Why the rush?" "I'm going to the palace to carry out my duty," she shouts back. He notices her outfit. "What are you wearing?" Blushing, she explains. "I'm going to the palace to take care of the prince. The empress asked me to." He snaps. There are guards at the palace. "You don't need to babysit that lazy bum who only thinks about pleasure." Linger fires back, "You've never even met the prince. Stop judging him." Before he can react, she's already out the door. He stands there stunned. Yesterday morning, she hated being assigned to watch over him. Now she woke up early and even got dressed up to see him. Something's not right. Cut to the palace. And look at our hero, chilling in the courtyard, surrounded by ladies pampering him. He's got snacks being fed into his mouth while he watches anime on his system. Truly, a difficult life. The knights nearby are fuming. The empress is off fighting a war in the north, and this guy's living like he's retired. Sho's just lying there thinking, retired life's the best life. But then, one knight suddenly freezes. "Major General? Whoa, she came dressed like that today." Everyone's stunned. Nobody's ever seen the general dressed like this. Our boy looks up. "Oh hey, what are you doing here, little miss?" Awkwardly, she replies, "The empress told me to look after you. I'm just doing my job." Annoyed, he waves her off. "Go away. You're ruining my vibe. I don't need protection." He's nervous she might slip up and expose that he's actually powerful. And if that happens, he'll have to start working. The knights are standing there thinking, this prince is messing around with the major now. He's out of his mind. But she steps forward and says, "I'm not leaving. I'm staying here with you." That's in direct order from the empress. I'm not disobeying it. One of the guards behind her is panicking. "Oh no, someone broke her mentally. I've got to report this to the general." This prince, I mean, he's kind of cute, sure, but what's happening here? First he wins over the empress and now the major too. Meanwhile, our boy is just chilling, totally unbothered. A while later, one of the knights comes rushing in. We just saw an island falling from the sky. The skeptical warrior, who didn't believe in our protagonist, starts to wonder, could it have been the Blood Tribe's base? Is that why no one ever found it? Linger walks over asking, "What's going on?" The woman answers, "Major General, it looks like one of the Blood Tribe's bases has collapsed." She just goes, "Oh, okay." And the girls all look at each other like, "Wait, what? That's your reaction?" "Major, are you shocked?" Realizing her slip, Linger quickly fakes it. "Oh, my goodness, no way, the base fell. Who could have done such a thing?" Meanwhile, our prince is slicing into a watermelon thinking, she's so bad at lying. No one's buying that. One of the knights looks confused. "I mean, it's good news, but I still don't get it." Linger asks her, "Why aren't you happy? Isn't this vengeance for your husband?" The knight sighs, "I'm just worried. Sure, one of their bases was destroyed, but it crashed in our territory. What if the leader of their main base comes here? What if the king of assassins shows up?" Xiao and Linger are giggling in the corner. Now the knight is completely lost. Why are they laughing? This is serious. She snaps, "Major, why are you laughing? This is a life or death situation for the dynasty. Are you only thinking about the prince now?" Linger's caught off guard. What are you talking about?" She's about to explain when Xiao suddenly smacks her lightly on the back of the head. "I heard everything from back there. You're grinning while we're facing a national crisis? You better start taking this seriously." Embarrassed, Linger mumbles that she almost let his secret slip. The knight is frozen, stunned that she just saw Linger get whacked by the prince. Xiao rests a hand on her shoulder and says, "Commander Liu, the Yan dynasty is prosperous. No matter how tough things get, we'll overcome it. So don't worry too much." The knight opens her mouth to speak, but he cuts her off. "I still have to teach her a few things. So go back to your duties." He gives her a look. "You heard me. Back to work." Then walks off with Linger and Tao. The knights are standing there in disbelief. What's happening with the major? She's following orders from him. She's only known him for, 2 days? One of them mutters, "This is way worse than I thought. We need to report this to the Grand General fast." Cut to Xiao and Linger on a bridge. Here comes the lecture. He tells her she doesn't get it. He just wants to relax. So she needs to be smarter, keep her mouth shut, and stop saying dumb things. Linger, all embarrassed, says, "Sorry, I won't do it again." He responds, "Sorry doesn't fix anything. Quit acting like an idiot." She lets out a little sigh, then drops to her knees. "Please, let me be your disciple. I want to be as strong as you one day." But Xiao turns his back to her, already raising a hand like he's waving goodbye. "I don't even know how I got this strong." She gasps. "What do you mean? You're insanely powerful. How can you not know how to train?" She jumps in front of him. "I'm an adult. Please, teach me. I'm not a kid." But he calmly says, "I'm not lying. There's nothing I can teach you," and walks away. The system pings. He calls for one of his ladies to feed him. Chapter end. Half a month later, our boy is just vibing up in the mountains, roasting himself a little pig and enjoying life. Just then, a young warrior comes running in to report. It's confirmed. The Blood Tribe's main base was destroyed by that mysterious man. Skull Splitter, the Seduction Queen, even the Grand Chief. All their bodies were found. The general clenches her jaw. "I spent the whole month stressed, thinking they'd attack us at any moment, but they're already gone." A little later, she's seen holding her husband's soul crystal and breaks into tears. She's smiling through the crying. Finally, someone avenged him. Linear turns to our protagonist and thanks him again. He shrugs. It wasn't me, probably someone else. If you want to show gratitude, how about you go cut up this meat for me? With a pouty face, she grabs the little knife and starts slicing it up like a good assistant. But our boy just throws a glance at the general in the distance, watching her cry. Scene cut. Somewhere in the middle of nowhere, a portal opens. Two shady guys step out. Boss, is this the Yan dynasty? One of them asks. Yeah, a boss nods. They say someone here destroyed the Blood Tribe's main base. We came to find out who. Far as we know, no one in this land should be that strong. So we're gonna do some digging. Scene shift. Northern border. The general and the empress are there standing tall. And let's just say, they're geared up for war. At that moment, a messenger arrives with a letter from the imperial city. Because it came by courier, the news is late. Only now are they learning that the Blood Tribe's first base fell. But the empress notices a side note in the letter. Apparently, Linear has been dressing extra carefully every day and refuses to leave Xiao Tian's side. The empress pauses. I didn't think he had that kind of charm. A tiny version of her pops up in her own head, thinking, well, he is kinda cute. No, doesn't matter how cute he is, he can't be doing that. Meanwhile, the Grand General is fuming. She's Linear's mother and says, I won't let this slide. My daughter is flirting with the Empress's prince. But right then, a bunch of barbarians appear on the horizon, led by some creepy old summoner. The general grits her teeth. I'll deal with them. Empress, you handle the old man. And the battle breaks out. Magic's flying, weapons clashing, chaos all around. The Empress leaps toward the summoner. So you've chosen death, she says coldly. The old man replies, sadly, I'm just here to bring more prosperity to the barbarians. She shakes her head. What a shame. You'll bring about their end. She slices at him. You never should have left your city. Without the great blessing, you're no match for me. The old man backs up, starting to realize she really is as strong as they say. But then he starts casting a bizarre spell on a skull, sealing some kind of power inside it. The Empress narrows her eyes. That power, if it's sealed, you can't use it. So what's the point? He smirks. I've already been paid by the Palace of the Black Soul. As long as I hold you here, the Swamp Elder should already be arriving in your dynasty. Too bad. The whole Yan capital will be ashes by morning. Below, the general is overwhelmed by waves of barbarians. The Empress shouts, don't come up here, just hold the wall. She starts powering up Dragon Ball style, trying to break free from the seal. The summoner chuckles, truly worthy of your title, Empress. Even now, you don't give in to fear. But it won't matter. Your city is doomed. Scene shift. Back to our boy, happily strolling through the forest, belly full. But of course, he's already thinking about more food. Simon, man, you're gonna turn into Majin Buu at this rate. The girls look at him puzzled. Didn't you just eat? I digest fast, he says, always ready for another meal. He glances toward the horizon, scanning for the next snack stop. Hey, gasped Linear. Where's your general friend? The one who's always hanging around. She went to get some wine for you, your highness. He raises an eyebrow. She went to that city? The one her husband defended? Linear nods. She made the decision on her own. I hope you won't be mad. Xiao waves it off. I'm not that cruel. Then he adds, if the city's got good wine, they probably have good food too. Let's head there. But you girls stay behind, he says. If she comes back with the wine and finds no one here, she'll freak out. The knights immediately object. No way. Our mission is to protect you. The prince waves them off. No need. I've got this little girl here protecting me. He turns his back on everyone. Adios. Scene shift. In the city, a poor soul is getting beaten down. She's holding her ground against 200 attackers. They came to strike the Yan dynasty. She immediately understands. The Hall of the Black Soul is working with the barbarian kingdom to bring us down. The old man from the Black Soul Hall and his disciple just stand there watching. The elder ignores her and says to his disciple, finish this. We need to begin the blood sacrifice collection in the city. The disciple licks his lips. Relax, master. I'll end her in one strike. He draws his sword. I'll give her a quick, painless death. He's already aiming for her neck. But in the last second, she manages to block. They're both thrown back. The guy charges again, stomps on her shoulder. Say goodbye. The sword comes down. This is it. The warrior thinks of her husband. I will never betray the empire. And then, snap. The guy was flying like a rag doll. What just happened? She's standing there, eyes closed, wondering why the final blow never came. And then she hears, what do you think you're doing to my guard? She opens her eyes, totally confused. Prince, what are you doing here? Ignoring her, Xiao turns to Linear. Take this freak out. Without hesitation, she lunges in, vertical slash. The warrior just stares. For a second, I thought the prince saved me. But of course, it was the general. Xiao grins. Where'd you go and get some wine? Why are you out here dying, woman? He grabs her chin gently and pulls out some pills from the system. Rewards from wiping out that previous organization. Eat this. She's stunned. Maybe this prince isn't so bad after all. That's number 5, folks. One more heart fallen for our boy. She tells him, this guy's from the Dark Soul Hall. He's the Poison Elder. You need to get out of here. He'll kill you. Xiao asks the system, is this guy strong? The system answers, extremely. He's mastered countless poisons. Xiao frowns. But they all look the same strength to me. System replies, that's because to you, everyone is weak. There's no visible difference anymore. And now, oh, System drops the real news. That guy's at the 8th level of awakening. Linger's only at level 3. That means she's going to lose. But right behind him, the general. If Xiao does anything serious now, she'll see how strong he really is. And that means she'll tell the Empress. And then he'll have to work. This poor lazy genius is doing mental gymnastics just to stay unemployed. The general steps forward. Prince, don't worry. I won't let you die. Xiao's inner thoughts. Poor thing. I'd love to smack him so hard he vanishes from this world. He says out loud, you just took the pill. You sure you want to die already? She glances down, her arms fully healed. All her wounds are gone. He gave me such expensive medicine. She picks up a fallen sword. I'll help. Even if we just buy time, the Empress might get here and avenge us all. But then, Linger's aura spikes. She awakens sword intent. Xiao turns to the general. That good? She nods, stunned. With sword intent, she can't lose. The disciple is furious. How did she awaken sword intent already? He rushes her, slashing wildly. But she dodges easily. Your sword technique is trash. This is my chance. Slash. Right through the chest. The guy drops to the ground. Linger snarls. How does trash like you have the guts to pick a fight? Pay for it with your life. She raises her blade, but suddenly a purple magic circle lights up, blocking the attack. A dark mist erupts, poison gas. 2 massive snakes burst out of it. Linger stumbles back, dropping her sword. She's already being poisoned. Good thing she managed to escape in time. The old man chuckles. You're quite bold, dropping your sword instead of taking the chance to run. Too bad you're stuck here, protecting this useless prince. The guy only made it in life because of his pretty face. Linger is already smiling to herself. Poor fools, they have no idea how terrifying the prince actually is. But wait, does the prince want to fight? Pulling off an Oscar-worthy performance, Xiao Tian steps forward and says, hold on, old man. I know who you are and what you're capable of. I'm willing to tell you all the Empress's secrets. I just want to live. The general gasps, Your Highness, what are you doing? But Linger grabs her arm and whispers, don't worry. The prince knows exactly what he's doing. There are things I can't tell you yet. The guard is thinking, and it should become so irrational. The old man pauses. Secrets about the Empress, you say. If the secret's worth it, I'll let you live. Xiao nods. Fine, but let them go first. Even if I don't survive, at least 2 people will be safe. The general's taken aback. Wait, he's trying to protect us first? She steps up. Your Excellency, it's our duty to protect you. Tell me the secret. I'll stay and you leave. Xiao keeps acting. I'm afraid to die and that's why I'm snitching. You're not. You'll keep your mouth shut. In his head. Come on, woman, just follow the script and go already. But the old man refuses. The only way this works is if you tell me the secret right now. If I like it, everyone lives. Linear facepalms. The general's getting mad. Meanwhile, Xiao's smiling like a clown. Suddenly, he lets out a burst of aura. The old man's stunned. The ground cracks open. Mountains split in 2. The geezer falls flat on his back, terrified. Xiao shuts off the aura and walks up slowly. You're not getting it, are you? I don't want to show my power. Is that a problem? The old man just stares. Out of nowhere, Xiao slaps him across the face. Answer me. The elder starts trembling. Sorry, Lord. Xiao snaps. I'm in my 20s. I'm not a lord. Smack. Another slap. Okay, now I feel bad. Poor grandpa's getting bullied. The old man lowers his head. I apologize, my lord. Xiao cups his ear. Didn't hear that. Louder. The guy screams, my lord. Smack, smack. 2 more slaps. Xiao. So now yelling is the same as speaking louder? Is that it? Honestly, at this point, I think he just likes slapping this dude. The general is frozen, completely stunned. Why isn't the old man fighting back? Linger leans in and whispers, the prince really is strong, but the Empress can't find out, okay. The general immediately gets it. That explains everything. That's why she's acting so different now. Xiao Tian is powerful. The guard asks, so, the day at the Blood Tower. Linger nods. Exactly. That mysterious man who destroyed the Blood Tower, that was him. The general stares at Shadow in total disbelief. Then she notices something strange happening underneath the old man. She shouts, move, get away from there. But the old man smirks. Too late. A swamp of poison spreads under him. Goodbye, prince. This is my swamp. I spent years creating it. You'll burn here for eternity. This magic cost me 30 years of my life. But now, you'll die. First, your flesh will melt. Then your bones will crumble into ash. You'll suffer, slowly. The deeper you sink, the worse it gets. The old man's gone full Joker mode now. Even the strongest of the strong can't survive this. The guard panics. General, we have to save him. But Linger stops her. No, you don't get it. Stay out of his way. He's far stronger than you think. The guard is still unsure, until, boom. Xiao Tian casually walks out of the swamp totally fine. Woo, this is great, he says. You burned 30 years of your life just to give me a spa exfoliation. This was supposed to be corrosive. Come on. He glances over, sees the old man's disciple still there. The guy collapses in fear. Don't come near me. Xiao grabs him by the collar. I think you need some skincare too. The guy pulls a knife, goes to stab him in the face. The blade shatters. He stares, stunned. What? Why did it break? Xiao just shrugs. Yeet, throws him into the swamp. The guy starts dissolving immediately. Xiao tilts his head. Huh, so it really was corrosive. Not bad. Still calm, he scoops some of the poison up and makes a face mask with it. The old man can only point at him, confused beyond reason. Xiao turns to Lingyer. Well, what do you think, little lady? Do I look a bit younger? She deadpans. Prince, why are you worried about your looks right now? He grins. Ah, girl, you don't understand anything. I have to look extra good to seduce the Empress. Smiling, he turns back to the old man. By the way, how many years of life do you have left? The elder blinks, confused. Yuko, what do you mean? Smiling from ear to ear, he says how much he enjoyed that exfoliant, then asks the old man how much more of it he can make. If I give you an item that extends your life, could you produce more of this stuff? The old man just keeps trembling, pointing at him while calling him a monster. Then he says, a scholar like me can be killed, but never dishonored. He slaps his own head and takes his own life. Our boy scratches his head, totally confused. Why did he kill himself? The girls are standing there in disbelief. The prince turns to them and says, I was being so honest with him. Was all that really necessary? They all have that classic blank face. No, it really wasn't. Lingyer says they better destroy the body, just to make sure no one finds out what happened. The other guard agrees, adding that they especially need to get rid of the poison swamp. Unfortunately, when the prince released his aura earlier, he split the mountains in half. So yeah, covering the tracks is going to be tricky. Xiao Tian asks, Lingyer, if we keep walking this way, we're headed toward the Great Yan Dynasty, right? She nods. Yes. Why, your highness? What do you want to do? I just want to destroy the corpses like you asked. Thude. He throws a punch. They close their eyes. Oh, then he just blows some air from his mouth. Boom. Tornado. Your highness, they ask, was all that really necessary? Xiao shrugs. Well, now that everything's completely changed, I'm pretty sure no trace is left. He erased entire mountains, leveled the entire battlefield, left behind nothing but a flat plain. The general says, Prince, you can't just go changing the whole world. He replies, no one's going to miss those mountains anyway. At least the poison swamp's buried now. They're standing there, hands on their faces like, Prince, that's not how this works. Then suddenly he jumps a bit. He forgot. There's a city right next door. They're probably not gonna miss those mountains, right? The guard tells him it's fine. There's a protective barrier around the city. No one can really see what's going on outside. He sighs in relief. Good. For a second, I thought my lazy life was over. He waves goodbye to the guard. I'm heading back. Don't freak the wine, okay? She watches him go. This prince really is one of a kind. With that much power, all he cares about is keeping up the image of being useless. And she touches the shoulder of an illusion of her husband, who honestly looks quite a bit like Xiao Tian. Scene change inside the city. People are running around in a panic. The enemies from the Dark Soul Hall are coming. But then they stop and look around. Wait, where are the mountains? Weren't there mountains here? The guard arrives. Mayor, everything's fine now. You can go back. The mayor walks away, scratching his head. Huh, I swear there were mountains right there. On the way home, Lingyer won't stop talking about everything the prince has done. She even mentions that he was able to hear blood flowing through a man's body. The general raises an eyebrow. Wait, if he has hearing like that, you think he didn't hear us talking behind his back? Xiao Tian chimes in. Of course I heard you. Always saying I seduced her majesty with my manly charms, and that even though I already had a whole bucket, I still wanted a scoop from the pot, clearly implying I have the Empress, but I'm after Lingyer too. Lingyer drops to her knees. I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. He laughs. It's fine. I don't really care about that stuff. Then Lingyer blinks. Wait, my own guard was gossiping about me in my own house. The guard freezes. Oh no, she just remembered she sent that message. Scene shift. Lingyer's house. Our boy's there. All right, go home now. She pouts. I don't want to. I want to have dinner with you. Xiao groans. No, enough. You've been eating dinner at the palace every day. Your dad yells at me every night, and I'm done with that. The guard mutters, honestly, the prince's hearing is something else. Lingyer walks up all sweet. Come on, your excellency. Let me hang out at the palace, please. Don't be so boring. Xiao pulls his arm away. Stop following me. And you really need to learn to appreciate your father. I didn't have a mom or dad when I was your age. I was adopted. Had to learn to wield a weapon early on. He pats her gently on the back like she's a kid. You don't realize how blessed you are. Both of them are caught off guard. Then he turns around, raises a hand, and says, good night. The prince is off. Lingyer stands there awkwardly. All right, I'll go home then. But Xiao doubles back and gives her a little pat on the head. With a warm smile, he says, good girl, now go home. Just then, her father shows up. What are you doing? He asks. Prince, you're Her Majesty's husband. How can you be getting handsy with other women like this? The guard steps in right away. Sir John, the prince, and the general are completely innocent. How dare you throw around such filthy accusations? Feeling awkward, the man stammers. No, that's not what I mean. Another woman chimes in. Sir Zhang, you're married to the Grand General. You hold a high position. You shouldn't be accusing the prince like that. All right, he's married to that muscle-bound warrior woman fighting alongside the Empress up north. The man's completely crushed now. He's starting to think the guard's probably fallen under Xiao Tian's charm too. The general speaks up. I think you're misunderstanding the situation. All I'm saying is it's not right to judge the prince that way. Lingyer adds, for your information, the prince was actually convincing me to stay home and spend more time with you. He's all hunched over trying to explain. No, sweetie, that's not what I meant. Our boy waves him off. Well, this is a family matter, isn't it, Mr. Zhang? I'll leave you to it. Oof. And Lingyer and the guard both leave with him. Poor Mr. Zhang's just left standing there. What in the world is going on? The issue with the southern refugees still isn't resolved, and now his daughter's acting like this. But before he can blink, all three of them are back staring him down. Next thing you know, he's putting together a feast for our guy. Lingyer explains, my dad's always been like this. He was never a great martial artist, so he used this kind of sneaky charm to win over my mom. He's the best cook in the entire kingdom. The old man flicks her on the head. How dare you talk about your father like that? He glances at Xiao Tian and thinks, why is my daughter so nervous around this prince? You know what? I'm better off not asking. He raises a glass. This wine is in honor of your highness. Please accept my apology for the things I said earlier. My Linger's a handful and lately she's been bothering you quite a bit. Xiao Tian brushes it off. It's fine. Let's eat. He gives the old man a thumbs up. Your food really is incredible. Now that's the life. He just keeps on eating. Mr. Zhang is sitting there thinking, no one would ever guess this skinny prince had such an appetite. Xiao Tian suddenly looks at him and the man quickly tries to act normal. Prince, if there's something on your mind, don't hold back. Please speak freely. Our guy says, well, Mr. Zhang, I do have one request. Go ahead, your highness. Would it be alright if I came over more often to eat and drink here? Your cooking is just too good. Zhang's thinking, this brat, I only cooked this to apologize and now he wants me, a government minister, to become his personal chef. No way. Then Xiao Tian slams his hand on the table and tosses out a ring. Inside, 1 million spirit stones. To help with the refugee crisis in the south. Mr. Zhang's entire attitude flips. Prince, what would you like to eat tomorrow? Just tell me. I'll take the ingredients right away. Boom. He points at his daughter. You're buying me a chef's uniform tomorrow. Got it? The women are standing there baffled. What just happened? Zhang is thinking, my biggest problem was the refugee issue. With this kind of money, I can solve that immediately. Sure, I'll become a chef. Why not? He picks up the spirit stones, turning them over in his hands. Are you sure it's safe to use these? He's starting to suspect Xiao Tian stole them from the Empress. The prince replies, relax. That was payment from someone who insulted me. Zhang raises an eyebrow. Someone insulted you and had this much money? Xiao just shrugs. It's all in the past. Then he leans in and whispers, just don't let Her Majesty find out about this, all right? Zhang nods. Understood. I'll keep this secret, no problem. Woo, what a relief. You have any idea how hard it was to get that money? Now the old man's thinking Xiao Tian was tortured and ransomed or something. Great prince, you suffered so much for this empire. I'm truly grateful for your dedication. Xiao replies, if you really want to thank me, cook more delicious meals. Of course, of course. Anyway, the prince says, now that that's settled, I want to know what you plan to do with the funds. Zhang says he's going to buy food and build housing for the homeless refugees. But the prince cuts in, that's not worth it. You'll spend a ton and it won't last. Why don't you use the money to create jobs? Zhang is confused. What exactly do you mean? Xiao explains, these refugee gangs have everything except one thing, structure. So hire them, give them real work. Put all those gang members to work repairing bridges, fixing roads, restoring farms, and while they're at it, they feed themselves. You solve two problems with one solution. Why not do that? Plus, it'll split up the gangs and weaken their influence. Zhang sits back impressed. That's actually a brilliant idea, Prince. Whatever you feel like eating, just let me know, Zhang says. I'll go ahead and get this plan moving. Our boy leans back, satisfied. Now that's what I like to hear. 3 days later, back on the barbarian front, the Empress is still deep in cultivation. But the barbarian elder notices she's about to break through to the next level and instantly decides to run. But it's too late. She opens her eyes mid-breakthrough. A burst of energy erupts around her. She's full on Dragon Ball Z now. If you can run faster than my blade, then go ahead and try, she says. And boom, she sends a massive slash through the battlefield. Heads are flying. The old man senses something coming. He turns. Too slow. Her sword cuts through the air, slams him into a rock, completely wrecked. Now he realizes, now that she's ascended, there's no way out of this. She returns to the wall and tells the general, we need to head back urgently. There's someone attacking our city. Grabs her by the arm and off they go. The general says they don't need to rush so much. The city's protected by a barrier after all. But the Empress shakes her head. That poison elder is extremely dangerous. If I hadn't broken through today, I wouldn't stand a chance. All we can hope for is that our people didn't suffer too badly. On the way back, the Empress glances around. General, wasn't there supposed to be 2 mountains here? Or am I mistaken? The general looks confused. Actually, there used to be 3. Where did they go? Looking around, the Empress notices that the terrain is completely flat. Whoever did this leveled everything with a single attack, she says. The general's stunned with one strike. Your Majesty, you're at the 9th level. Can you compare yourself to someone capable of this? The Empress answers calmly, you might have the wrong impression of me. I don't even know how strong the person who did this is, let alone what it'd be like to fight them. As they arrive at the city, the Empress walks in gracefully, veil and all, looking stunning. She says she's not too concerned about Linger spending time with the prince. As long as she's protecting him, that's enough. But then she spots Xiao Tian getting doted on by the 2 girls. Linger's offering him some buns. The guard's holding up a cup of wine to his lips. Right away, Xiao Tian senses a deadly aura behind him. He turns his head, and there she is, his wife. The general points at Linger. Looks like I didn't beat you enough last time. Are you asking for another spanking? Linger panics. Crap, Mom got back way too soon. What do I do? That's when the guard blurts out, wait, I sent her a message about you and the prince. Our boy's already shouting, are you trying to get me killed? General Song's glaring like she's about to dropkick her daughter. Linger instantly hides behind the prince. Please, just cover for me a little. With Her Majesty here, she won't dare hit you. But General Song steps right up to him, blocking out the sun like a wall of muscle. Xiao's thinking, it's like a mountain just materialized in front of me. She says, step aside, I need to have a chat with my daughter. He stares up at this 2-meter-tall beast of a woman, her veins bulging like King Kong's arms. General Song, he says calmly, publicly beating your daughter might have long-term effects on her development. She's glaring with a terrifying expression. Prince, I'm being nice to you only because of the Empress. Move. Linger throws herself to the ground. Please hit me, not the prince. The guard jumps in. Yeah, please don't hit him. The general's stunned. What the hell is wrong with you two? I would never lay a hand on the Empress's man. Suddenly, people from the city start showing up, asking what's going on. Xiao Qian tries to calm them. Don't worry, everything's fine. One guy says, Prince, don't forget the banquet later. Got it. See you all there. The general is sweating now. Why do all the townspeople seem to like this guy so much? Our boy turns and looks at the Empress thinking, Dan, my wife really is the most beautiful, graceful, and sexy woman alive. She glances his way and catches him drooling. This prince is too much. Curious, she asks. Prince, what exactly did you do to get the city folks to treat you so well? He looks away, embarrassed, unsure what to say. Scene shifts. They're walking through town. Well, he says, I just threw some money around to build a few roads. Nothing major. The Empress raises an eyebrow. And where did you get that money? Last I checked, you aren't exactly wealthy. He grins. Marrying you has its perks, doesn't it? As the prince, people are generous. I've been accepting a few gifts here and there, no big deal. She looks confused but doesn't question it too hard. I guess there are a lot of rich people in my empire. Meanwhile, the general is thinking, this prince really is clueless. Why do people like him so much? And then Linger opens her mouth and ruins everything. It's because the prince actually made everyone's lives better day by day. The Empress and general glance at each other. What is she even saying? Linger goes on, like the wine we used to sell in town. It was awful. So they started importing wine from the southern city and gave it a new name, the Empress's Grand Reserve, with backing from Minister Zhang, you know, the food guy, and the prince's name stamped on the label. Everyone wanted a bottle. Now it's the most popular drink in town. Our boy walks up to the Empress and apologizes for using her name without permission. But since nobody believes in his strength, he had to rely on her reputation. The other two ladies are just standing there with those classic sure right faces, thinking, of course, Prince, you're totally weak. Aha. But the Empress turns to him and says, you're my man, my prince. No one in this entire country has the right to call you useless. If I ever hear anyone speak badly of you, I'll cut them down myself. Our boy's got this mischievous little grin now. He's loving it. He thanks her, saying, you really are the best wife in the world. She tells him he's way too easy to fool, and she doesn't like that kind of smooth talk. But under the veil, she's clearly smiling. The general chimes in, Prince, Her Majesty has been strong ever since she was a child. She has a powerful heart. Those little flirty tricks that work on other girls won't work on her, you understand. But our boy, having seen that secret smile, is thinking, maybe my Empress really is proud and closed off on the outside. But deep down, I know she enjoyed that. He turns to Linger. Your mom doesn't get it at all. Then the general says to the Empress, come on, let's go eat. My husband should have made something for us by now. The Empress lights up. I can't wait. He always makes the best food for me. They head home. Our boy notices the Empress seems stronger than before. He asks the system, what's her current strength level? The system responds, she's already reached the 9th realm, he thinks. So she left to deal with the northern threat, leveled up, and made it back before dinner? My wife is seriously the best. At the door, the aroma is amazing. The general brags, my husband always knows when I'm on my way home. I'm sure he made this meal with lots of love for me. Linger is sweating bullets. Let's just hope she never finds out it's all for the prince. Inside, Zhang hears someone at the door, and without even turning around says, Brother Zhao, you're lucky today. I cooked all your favorite dishes. And of course, I stocked up on the Empress's wine. We're getting drunk tonight. The general's standing at the door thinking, hold up, why is he saying it's for the prince and not for me? That's when he finally turns around and sees his wife and the Empress. "Oh, my dear wife, your majesty, welcome." The Empress smiles. "Just like old times. You always made meals for us." Zhang's all giddy like a kid. "Wait right here. I'll get more bowls." We're all eating together. The two women just stare at the prince like, what happened these past few days? Our boy, meanwhile, is panicking. If the Empress finds out I gave him those ideas, she might ask me to help govern the city. No way. That's not happening. Later, everyone's eating. The general says, "My husband really went all out today." The Empress picks up her cup. "This is that wine I heard about, isn't it?" Zhang nods. "Yes, your majesty. The one we created here." She takes a sip. "This is wonderful. So the success wasn't just from using my name. The wine itself is excellent." And of course, here comes Zhang, spilling everything our boy didn't want him to say. "Yes, your majesty. The prince didn't just help with the wine. He invested in infrastructure, built new roads and bridges, helped create jobs, and gave Qingyang a complete makeover. He even took the initiative to pay extra taxes just to set a good example for the other merchants. Our boy has his hand over his face, begging for someone to just knock Zhang out cold. If this keeps going, I'm gonna lose my comfy, lazy life." Zhang glances at him and says, "I haven't even started the real praise yet. Your majesty, it's honestly hard to explain how exceptional your husband is." Our boy snaps. "Would you shut up already?" But Zhang keeps going. "And as for the refugee crisis in the south, the prince gave us key suggestions and even donated his own money." He's sweating now, not knowing where to look, while the Empress has this tiny, proud little smile on her face. Poor Zhang. If our boy could unplug him from the server right now, he would. Meanwhile, Zhang's winking at the prince like he's helping. Our boy's got his face buried in his hands, practically crying. He's even gone pale from secondhand embarrassment. And then the Empress says, "If you're this capable, why do you keep calling yourself useless?" He thinks to himself, "Because I just want to be lazy," and immediately imagines the Empress whipping him and ordering him to get to work. Then he gives a look that says he's happy on the outside of it, thinking, "You damn show-off. You should be ashamed of ruining my plans." The Empress says, "I didn't expect you to know how to make wine." The protagonist replies, "Well, I know a little. When it comes to eating, drinking, and enjoying life, I'm pretty much the best around." The Empress teases, "Not many people get compliments from Mr. Zhang. Why do you look so nervous? You're scared I'll assign you an official post and make you work hard, huh?" He freezes, thinking she figured out his entire plan in 10 seconds flat. But then she says, "Don't worry. I promised you'd live a peaceful and prosperous life without lifting a finger, and I intend to keep that promise. After all, I summoned you here without permission. It's the least I can do." Our boy thinks, "This woman, she really knows how to get under my skin." She goes on, "And if anyone dares call you useless again, I'll have no problem turning into a tyrant and cutting them down." Now he's daydreaming about sitting on her lap, thanking her for being so caring and indulgent. She asks him, "And about that old poison master who showed up. I heard you were the one standing at the city gates. I want all the details." Sometime after telling the whole story, the general suddenly stands up. "What? With one punch? Who is this man that's strong?" The guard backs him up. The man left behind the name Yan. He's also the one who wiped out the entire blood tribe. The Empress, stunned, asks, "Is that true?" The guard confirms, "Of course, your majesty. You know how much I hated those bastards. I'd never lie about something like this." The Empress says she'd love to meet the man and thank him personally. He just solved one of the Empire's biggest problems. Mr. Zhang adds, "The Temple of the Dark Soul and the Blood Cloud Society have been harassing the Empire for a long time. It's a blessing that someone like him exists now." The two women raise their glasses in celebration. Finally, someone strong enough to put an end to all that chaos. Mr. Zhang shifts the topic and asks, "Your Majesty, will you be attending court?" She says yes. It's part of my role as Empress. He advises her, "Then you should probably protect the prince while you're there. Now that the Northern campaign is over, you can't put it off anymore. According to the laws of the Yan dynasty, the prince must appear before all the ministers in court." Our boy is completely lost. "Nobody ever told me about this." The chef explains, "It's the rule, your highness. Once the Empress marries, the prince must meet with the officials alongside her." Kotian looks at the Empress, unsure. Is that going to cause a problem? Dong nudges her, "Your Majesty, why don't you tell him?" She sighs, "I owe you an explanation. Marrying you wasn't just about having a human shield. I hope what I'm about to say doesn't upset you." Our protagonist responds, "Come on, someone like me is always ready for the worst." She explains the issue. The Prime Minister, who helped her seize the throne, has a son, and he's been pressing her to marry him for years. As Empress, she's expected to produce heirs for the nation. So the Prime Minister's been pushing for a political marriage. But instead of giving in, she spent years delaying until she learned the summoning technique, and that's when she brought him into this world. The protagonist goes quiet. He clearly doesn't like the thought of the Empress being forced to marry someone else. She assumes he's scared. "I'm a little afraid of the Prime Minister too," she admits. "But as long as we follow protocol, things should be fine. And if not, I'll protect you. Or maybe we'll find some other way around it." He lifts his cup with a sly grin and says, "Well, I'll go. You're gonna protect me in court, right? That guy's not gonna kill me in there, is he?" Linger and the guard are watching nervously, thinking, If the Prime Minister loses it and pushes the prince, what'll happen? The Empress frowns. You don't have to go. Maybe it really is too risky. I can't fully gauge his strength, and I don't want to face him unless I absolutely have to. Mr. Zhang says, Your Majesty, I believe in the prince, even if he comes off a little silly at times and seems mostly interested in pleasure. And yes, he's extremely lazy. That doesn't necessarily mean he'll struggle, right? I was standing there, unsure if that was meant to be a compliment or an insult. Honestly, even I'm not sure. The two women reassure the Empress to relax. They're confident the prince won't have any trouble. The Empress starts to notice just how much these two trust him. Linger adds, It's because of what my father said. The prince isn't someone you can deal with easily. The general agrees. Well, if everyone's on board, maybe it really is the right time to confront the Prime Minister. The Empress still looks a little uneasy, but our boy meets her gaze and says, I believe in you. She asks him softly, You're not afraid? Our guy, smooth as ever, replies, My wife is the most beautiful and intelligent woman in the entire dynasty, the most magnificent ruler in the world. What could I possibly be afraid of? She stands up quietly, no sass this time. And I think I just figured out where those mountains the prince yeeted into oblivion ended up. She excuses herself. Well, if you insist, I won't say anything else. She heads off to finish some paperwork and then back to the palace. Our boy's just sitting there thinking, flirting with her is the best. Cut to the next scene, he's walking home as usual with the two crazy girls tagging along. But he notices they're being followed. The guy's so clumsy, it's almost cute. Could he be one of the Prime Minister's spies? Without hesitation, the proto reaches for his wrist and takes off his contract ring. The girls freeze. Wait, that's the super powerful contract ring used to control people summoned from other worlds, right? It has all those rules and bindings. Linger, clearly panicking. Your Excellency, what are you doing? He replies, I've been wearing it on the same wrist for too long. Starts to ache. So I switch sides from time to time. She's stunned, but that's not what she was asking. The guard steps in. I think what she means is, how can you just remove it? Our charming idiot grins. Oh, that. It's simple. Just take it off one hand and slip it onto the other. He does it like it's nothing. The two girls just give up trying to understand him. All the while, he's still keeping an eye on the person tailing them. A little later, Linger asks, Your Majesty, are you going to kill the Prime Minister? He stops. What? Are you insane? Why would I do that? She says, It's obvious he's going to try and humiliate you in court. If he attacks, I'll have no choice but to expose your power. Then she gets a bright idea. You're strong, right? Why don't you just raid the Prime Minister's mansion tonight? Slap. He smacks her on the head. She immediately complains, Please be gentle. Don't blow up my skull. He shakes his head. That's impossible. You've got a hard head. You think just because someone's targeting me, I'm going to kill him. That's not how I am. Linger pouts. He says he's not violent, but he just nearly crushed my skull. The guard silently observes. This general used to be so proud and untouchable. Now she's like a shy little girl talking to him. Back at home, our protagonist flops into his chair, asks the system to put on a movie, and tells the girls to practice for an hour before heading out. He increases the pressure around them. They just have to follow the method he taught, and well, let's just say, it's the most unique training method I've ever seen. After an hour, they leave. He does a bit of cultivation on his own, until he hears noise outside. When he looks out, the Empress arrives with a small army of maids that look like she literally copy-pasted them in Microsoft Paint. And she's got that royal tone. Prince, why are you just sitting there all spaced out? Come with me to the palace. And she even said to him, Prince, what are you doing just standing there? Come to bed with me, and this time you're not allowed to run away. When she enters the room, she notices a few drops of sweat on the floor. She looks into the eye and says, a lot of people think you're only good at having fun, but they don't realize how hard you've been working. How have you been training lately? Completely straight-faced, he replies that he hasn't really been practicing. He just moves around a little now and then to keep his muscles active. She, being all sweet and gentle, tells him to take as much time as he needs. There's no rush. She's here for him. Look at our boy, all shy and flustered, thinking to himself, my wife is way too amazing. Why are all her seductive traits maxed out like that? The Empress lies down on the bed with a little book in her hand. She looks over and asks, what are you doing just standing there? Aren't you going to come keep me company? He immediately takes off his coat and crashes onto the bed like a rock. She thinks it's kind of funny the way he acts. The candles are blown out and night falls. The Empress tells him there's no need to be so scared, she's only here to clear up people's doubts. But he's over there thinking she's going to devour him. And hey, calm down people. I mean devour as in eat, not what you're thinking. Or is it? The main character says it's only the second time he's ever been in bed with a woman, so of course he's nervous. After all, his whole life has been about learning how to kill. Not exactly the best preparation for this kind of situation. That's when she suddenly turns to him a bit irritated and asks, second time, who was the first? Our boy replies, Your Majesty, it was you before you left for the north when you summoned me. The Empress pauses, realizing it's true. Ah, so my first and second were both with you too. Then she asks, I just want to know, why do you want to go to court and meet the ministers? If you don't want to, you don't need to force yourself. Our guy answers that's because of loneliness. She seems confused. So he explains, before you summoned me, I was always alone. I don't really know how to explain it, but I've always felt isolated. He thinks back on Earth. He was incredibly talented and strong. No one ever wanted to join his group because he could complete every mission on his own. And now he's in a new world even more powerful than before. But this place, it's 10 times lonelier. She sits there, deep in thought, wondering why he's saying he's lonely if she's there with him. He turns to her and says, even if it's hard to describe, we became husband and wife. Maybe not in the usual sense, but I feel like I have a family now, and that family is you. Damn, our boy knows how to speak. He's basically the playmaker of this story, the Messi of emotional confessions. That way he feels like at least they're no longer alone. It's the only way he can really support her. With her eyes shining, she says they need to get to know each other all over again. She tells him her name is Zhu Ruyan. He replies that his name is Xiao Tian. The next chapter kicks off with everything up north settled, and now the prince has to meet the ministers. But back in the city, everyone knows the prime minister had plans to marry his own son off to the empress, which means the prince is going to run into trouble. And then we see the shameless one himself, Liu Hacheng. His son Liu Zami, standing beside the throne, grits his teeth and says, "That was supposed to be my seat." And just like that, the couple enters the room. The protagonist arrives and sees that his seat is shaped like a phoenix. And apparently he sees that as kind of humiliating, since the phoenix is a symbol traditionally associated with women. The empress notices he's standing still and asks what's wrong. He says it's nothing, but she can tell something's bothering him. So she says the prince is a man and shouldn't be sitting in a phoenix chair. She orders it to be changed. The attendants immediately bring in a new chair and she gives him a little wink. Our guy realizes she's doing this to show the ministers that she values him. He sits down, relaxed and confident, while the people in court are quietly embarrassed. This is the man everyone's been talking about. Someone steps forward and says if anyone has something to say, now's the time. Mr. Chang approaches and cuts right to the chase. Your Majesty, I have something to say. She asks what it is. They talk, but everyone already knows he's going to complain about the prince, and our main guy's already thinking ahead. He hadn't expected the prime minister to be this sharp. The man handled himself well with the empress. He was clever, strategic. Our boy says he's not afraid of ambitious people. He's afraid of those who are ambitious and capable. And he knows it won't be easy to strip this man of his power. That's when the prime minister speaks up. Your Majesty, this Prince Xiao Tian is not fit for the empire. It's confusing you and lowering the value of our kingdom. Please banish him from the empire and strip him of his title. Everyone in the room freezes, tension rising like a storm. Meanwhile, our boy's thinking. So this is how it begins. And honestly, he's kind of enjoying it. Linger finds the whole thing amusing. Look at everyone trying to provoke the prince with their little smiles. If only they knew. Sister Liu tells her to stay quiet. The worst outcome would be if the prince got angry, slapped the minister, and killed him on the spot. If he wants to fool around, let him have his fun. Then the empress speaks. Prime Minister, Xiao Tian is my husband. If you say one more word, your head will be the next to roll. And with that, she releases a fearsome aura that shocks the entire court. Everyone now realizes she's already stepped into the Menth realm. Truly an unmatched power. And yet the Prime Minister doesn't seem fazed in the slightest. He smiles and congratulates her. Everyone by his side bows. The Empress realizes that even after revealing the full extent of her 9th realm power, the Prime Minister remained completely unshaken, which can only mean he's more powerful than she thought. The Prime Minister then speaks. As great a cultivator as Her Majesty may be, her husband has absolutely no talent to lead this world. He's constantly seen indulging in disgraceful behavior, using others for his own profit. Everyone knows he used Her Sacred Majesty's name to brand a bottle of wine. That alone proves he's a man of no virtue and should be expelled from the empire. He continues. On top of that, he spends his entire day with Minister Zhang's daughter and his personal guard, Miss Liu. Rumor even has it that he's forcing Minister Zhang to cook for him. It's clear he's corrupting the palace. If he isn't summoned to court and held accountable, he'll only show how much favoritism the Empress has toward him. And once again, he demands that the prince be executed. First it was exile, now he wants the boy's head. That's not happening. Petition to disconnect the Prime Minister from the server? I'd fully support it. The muscular general is furious, wondering why her daughter's friendship with the prince is even being brought up. Minister Zhang steps in and declares the Prime Minister is wrong. Xiao Tian built bridges and roads. He's helped the people and even spent his own money to aid refugees. Even his daughter, who used to be rebellious, has changed for the better since spending time with the prince. So he asks the Prime Minister, how are these actions corrupting the dynasty? Meanwhile, the prince is sitting there grinning, nodding in full agreement with everything Zhang just said. But then the Prime Minister speaks up again. Where's the proof? Zhang asks what kind of evidence he's looking for. The Prime Minister says, how could Xiao Tian have possibly done all that himself? I have every reason to believe you were the one behind it all and are just trying to prop him up. Now the people in the court are beginning to murmur, wondering why so much is being done to protect a prince they see as useless. Unfortunately, Minister Zhang realizes that the protagonist only ever gave verbal instructions. There's no solid proof. And so the Prime Minister says, as we can see, there's no evidence that any of this was actually done by him. But our clever boy speaks up. Then by that same logic, there's no evidence that I didn't do it either. The Prime Minister blinks and actually agrees. You have a point. Since I can't convince anyone with words alone, how about this? He pulls out a scroll. This is a legendary ancient book. Would the prince like to take a look? The Empress looks startled. She immediately questions the Prime Minister. What are you doing? Xiao Tian, on the other hand, is just wondering why he brought out a book and what the big deal is. Is this some kind of cursed book that kills people when they try to read it? Still, he shrugs and says, if you'll allow it, sure, I'll take a look. It's fine. The Empress jumps up. No, you can't read that. Our protagonist says that technically, he could try to read it. But then again, why should he do anything the Prime Minister wants? The Prime Minister claims, this is simply a minor test set by the Empire. If the prince can't pass it, then it only proves he's nothing but a facade. And you probably teamed up with Minister Zhang to deceive the Empress and the higher authorities. Such treachery would be a grave offense. Our guy claps and says, this bastard really knows how to twist words, I'll give him that. Minister Zhang warns that this book contains the inherited language of the dynasty, written in an unknown script. If you try to read it and fail to decipher it, you die instantly. The protagonist replies, so that's what this is, huh? Minister, this test is completely unreasonable. It makes no sense at all. The Prime Minister waves the book in the air and asks, are you afraid, Prince? Xiao Tian steps forward and says, if I read the book, then sure, I prove unworthy of the Empress. But I'm already with her, and if I fail to read it, I die. Sounds like a pretty unfair deal to me, wouldn't you agree? That's when the Prime Minister's son jumps in, furious. Xiao Tian, stop speaking like that to my father. But before he can say more, the prince slaps him across the face and says, it's rude to interrupt when grown-ups are talking. Then he looks at the Prime Minister and asks, tell me, what kind of upbringing did you give your son? The Prime Minister glares at him, then kneels before the Empress. I apologize for my son's behavior in the presence of the royal court. She responds, it's fine. You'll pay for it with 6 months' salary. His son even thanks him. The protagonist is surprised. He didn't expect this side character to be so calm. Usually, these guys are all over the place. The minister starts talking about a secret jade garden full of treasures. Back when the Empress took the throne, she was too young to claim everything stored there. But now, if the prince manages to succeed, the minister promises to gift him 3 million spirit stones as a wedding present. Then he smirks and says, actually, make it 5 million. Take it or leave it. The prince replies, well, minister, if your appetite is that big, I won't be stingy either. Thinking to himself, whatever, he's going to die anyway. He hands over the book. The protagonist takes the book and says, first of all, minister, thank you for this wonderful wedding gift. The Empress is clearly worried and says, husband, don't do this. It's stupid. But he's already opened the book, read a few pages, and closed it. The queen is in shock. The Prime Minister scoffs, just like all the others. You couldn't handle it either. People in the court begin whispering. That book must be read completely once it's opened. Anyone who closes it before reaching the final page dies instantly. The protagonist turns and asks, wait, is that true? Everyone's now wondering, how is he still alive? He casually walks away saying, standing up for too long is tiring. I'll sit back down and read this slowly. He plops down in his seat and starts flipping through the pages. Everyone stares at him, making him uncomfortable. He says, can you all stop gawking and talk among yourselves? You're distracting me. The Empress asks, are you feeling okay? He gives her a wink, thanks her for worrying, and says, I'm fine. This amazing gift from the Prime Minister. I'll make sure it's yours. The dynamic duo we've gotten to know well are standing nearby with the usual deadpan expressions. This damn guy, he's just messing with everyone. We knew this was going to happen. The prince is calm as ever, while the minister's fuming inside. How is this bastard reading that book like it's nothing? Our protagonist closes the book and places his hand on his head. The Empress watches him and thinks maybe he wasn't affected because he has no cultivation. She feels proud. Even if my husband's just a normal guy, he's still remarkable in his own way. He starts getting curious about the book's contents. Was this even made by a person? He asks the system. Is this for physical training or what? The system replies. That book is protected by a prohibition spell. Anyone below the 10th realm is destroyed instantly upon reading it. What? He's the protagonist. He grins. Oh, so this wasn't made by a human? This world's got some interesting stuff. System, translate it for me. The system says, unfortunately, translation requires 3,000 points. Complete missions to earn them. He grumbles. Seriously, you're not going to translate it for me? The system replies, dear master, sadly, I require points to do that. Book still open, he mutters. Look at the mess I'm in. If I embarrass myself, you know the consequences. The system hesitates. Mission initiated. Sit in the chair for 1 second. Mission complete. You have received 9,999,999 points. Well, that's the end of the story. Clearly, the system plays favorites. Back to it. The system says it's translating now. The protagonist comments, why did you only do this after I pressured you? You better step it up next time. The system, sounding ashamed, apologizes and promises it won't happen again. Of course it won't. Our guy now has 9 billion points. Meanwhile, the minister sees the prince laughing and gets even more irritated. He asks, "Prince Xiao, did you really understand what's written in that book? And don't even think about pretending it's fake." The protagonist stands up. "I wouldn't waste my time pulling a stunt like that. I'm just waiting for the system to finish the translation." Suddenly, the book in his hand begins to glow. Everyone gasps. It's the book's inheritance. Even the Empress is shocked. She exclaims, "The ancient book that's killed over 10 people has now revealed its inheritance to the prince? Surely that's enough for you, minister." But the minister protests, "I didn't see the prince actually absorb the inheritance. Maybe he just triggered a mechanism that made it react." The book floats into the air and releases a flurry of glowing characters that shoot straight into the prince's mind. After transferring everything, the book drops to the ground. The protagonist turns and asks, "Well, Prime Minister, what now? Going to pull another trick? Better not come up with any lame excuses." The minister lowers his head. "I apologize. I didn't realize the prince was a genius." Xiaotian responds, "No problem. Now just send over the 6 million spirit stones." He snatches the contract or paper out of the minister's hand. "Much appreciated, Prime Minister Liu." The minister's son growls, "All of that belongs to Her Majesty. There's no need to thank me." But Xiaotian raises his hand and says, "Oh, I was talking about that extra million you added earlier in the bet. I expected 5, but who would have thought you'd be so generous and throw in one more from your own pocket?" He raises his fist toward the minister. Someone whispers, "What's he doing?" And our guy just gives him a thumbs up. The queen, trying not to laugh, says, "Maybe the prince could go a little easier on the poor man. He's already looking sick. Give him a break." And now the entire court bursts into laughter at the poor minister's expense. The minister says, "Thank you very much, Your Majesty. The gift will be delivered to the palace tonight." The empress stands and replies, "I thank you as well for your generosity. If everyone's satisfied, let's take our leave." As they head out, the group that's always tagging along with the protagonist is all smiles. Our boy turns to Minister Zhang and says, "After today's huge win, I'll have to celebrate with dinner at your place." The empress's elders nod and say, "Prince Xiao truly woke us up today. You carry yourself with such strength and confidence. You're really impressive, Prince. Amazing." The prince waves them off and says, all right, let's stop with the praise. What I really enjoy is wine. Think we can bring a bottle to tonight's dinner?" Everyone chuckles, saying the prince's spirit really is something else. They've got nothing else to say. Even the buff general compliments him, "You really are something, Prince." And off they go. The hubby chimes in, "Come on, love, I'll cook you something delicious tonight." The protagonist glances at the key the minister gave him and thinks, that lunatic's not gonna come up with some excuse to avoid paying those 6 million spirit stones, right? Miss Liu tells him not to worry. The minister has his issues, but he's a man of his word. Our boy doesn't want the prime minister to become an enemy of the empire. After all, whether he likes it or not, the guy is skilled and essential to the dynasty. Linger turns and asks, "Prince, what happened with that book that kills people?" He replies, "That ancient book? It just had a mechanism. If you're below the 10th heavenly realm, you die instantly. Nothing crazy." The girls freeze. Obliterated below the 10th realm, Liu asks, "What is this heavenly realm stuff? What does that even mean?" The protagonist looks confused. "You don't know." They shake their heads. "All we know is the human race and the monster race. We've never even heard of an ancient god race." Then Linger asks, "Prince, why were you flipping through the book like that? Did that help you absorb its knowledge?" He answers, "No, it didn't help." "How can you be so dumb? How would opening and closing a book help transfer a legacy?" Still not getting it, she asks, "Then why were you doing that, Prince?" He goes, "Every time the book tried to kill me, it gave my body a little massage. I thought it felt kinda nice." They panic. "Prince, that book is meant to kill someone at the 10th realm. Stop using it for massages." The next chapter opens at the prime minister's estate, where his idiot son says, "Father, like Xiaotian, he's a total disgrace. Why don't we just find someone and get rid of him?" His father replies, "This matter is closed. We're not going to ruin a major occasion just because of some powerless fool. And frankly, I'm very disappointed in you today." The son starts to talk back, but immediately gets a lecture. "One day you'll have to take your place in this empire. And how do you expect to do that acting like a brat in front of everyone?" The son lowers his head. "Sorry, father." The minister looks out the window and says, "My return to the empire is near. We need to tread carefully during this final stretch." Then he orders, "Send someone to spread the word that the prince has inherited the book's legacy. That'll stir things up for him and give the empress a serious headache. Look at what this bastard's scheming. If it weren't for that unknown man who defeated the Blood Tower, this idiot prince would have been kidnapped, and I could have stolen the empress's position. Now our boy's got to find out that this guy's the real villain. But for now, he's more concerned about the empress, who's been working herself to the bone." He walks in and is shocked by how much she's already done. She says, "If it weren't for the prime minister, you probably wouldn't even be able to see me behind this pile of work." He tells her, being empress is no joke, and thinks to himself, "Good thing I'm not the one doing it. I'm just chilling here." The Empress explains that the Grand Dynasty is the result of her father's efforts and the sacrifices of her two older brothers who died. No matter how tired I get, it's nothing compared to what they gave. The protagonist asks if the 6 million spirit stones have been delivered to the palace yet. That reminds her, right, I have a favor to ask. The jade pendant the minister gave you, it matches this one. Together, they unlock the wealth my father left behind. He stares at the key thinking, knew this was gonna turn into a job. She tells him, I'm leaving the key in your care so you'll be in charge of that place. I've got a mountain of other responsibilities. At least this way, the court won't be able to say you're not doing anything right. He smiles and says, well, if that easy, and let's get to it. He joins the two pendants together, and a brilliant light flashes out. The Empress explains, this jade pendant is also a spiritual weapon. It will protect you. You're supposed to tell someone to move the contents of an old archive to a new location, and you can decide whether or not you want to keep what's inside the vault. Our boy is all giddy with excitement. Not only is he going to pretend he's doing something important, but he's also going to get free money to spend however he likes. Thank you, Empress. I'll keep it safe for you. Just as he's about to turn around, she stands up and thanks him. Like the good little scammer he is, he winks and says, anything for you, my love. Scene shifts. He's now entering the vault with his two companions.